Hello, I'm Toycat, and as you all know, I love electric scooters. However, as of right now, they are still illegal to ride on roads and cycle paths in the United Kingdom because they are motor-driven, and so you need to have a full driving license and you need to have insurance. The reason for this is the archaic horse and carriage acts of the 19th century. I wish I was joking there. And so as a result, you cannot ride one. At least that's the official reason. I think if you look at the government's actions in expanding trial schemes where you can ride one, but only if you rent it, the actuality is the reason it's illegal is because they look like they shouldn't be on the roads. And so riding an electric scooter is illegal. But if, say, you have an electric scooter that looks a lot like a bike, and maybe it's one that we could ride without a single... So obviously this is an electric bike. You might have been able to work it out from the pedals, the two wheels that are both quite large, and if that didn't give it away, maybe it's the fact that it says Gocycle on the front, which makes it look suspiciously like a rented bike scheme. In fact, everyone makes this comment to me, and I used to think it was a real downsell for the brand, but it is all going on for this exact same thing of incognito. This is designed to look like you're riding a bike. Even try and tell me what you can gather from this display right here and all the buttons. If you can work it out on the first glance, you'll be the first. Everything about this bike is designed to look like a bike. Everything about the performance of this bike is designed to match perfectly my electric scooter that looks so illegal that I get stopped by police and have all sorts of issues with it. And everything about that scooter attracts attention, and sadly, in the current age of, oh, a scooter knocked down my grandma and killed her 3 children, in the current age, that is designed to attract the wrong type of attention, and you're technically on the wrong side of the law. Let's say, though, you attract no attention. In fact, the only attention you attract is that maybe people think that you're part of some bike share scheme or you're riding just super fast. It's entirely legal. And you might question then, like, wait, but surely people can tell when you're going real fast and there's a motor doing it, you're going 20 miles per hour, surely people would notice that. However, as I'll show you right now, the truth is, could you tell for sure that I wasn't riding that by myself? If you know your electric motors, you can hear that very slight hum. You might be able to tell there's an electric motor in there, but most people actually cannot. And so this is the really interesting loophole of laws and how they work that I wanted to briefly dive into, because my newest electric scooter, you've worked out, is not actually a scooter in the slightest. It is a bike in every single sense of the word, but it's actually an electric bike, which has its own classification in Europe, whereas a electric, again, electrically driven device needs to be specially legalized and gives special permission to use the bike lanes and the roads. Bikes have been around since before the age of motor vehicles, and because you're doing it yourself, it's always been considered fine. Like, yeah, of course you can pedal on your own power. I've seen so many ludicrous videos of people pedaling a bike at 70 miles per hour, and indeed most speed limits, again, this varies on enforcement more than legality in most cases, but you can pedal yourself at any speed that you like, and in most jurisdictions it's either legal or it's possible, because who's going to stop a cyclist going 70 and try to give them a ticket? How are you even going to do so? You're gonna use my license plate to do that? By the way, that license plate point is not the real reason that cyclists can go at 50 miles per hour and not get in real trouble, because drivers do that sort of thing all the time. Drivers are breaking all sorts of traffic lines like stop signs, and obviously cyclists do the same with red lights and all sorts of illegal maneuvers. This is just a function of how we write laws, but we write laws in a very garbage way. That joke makes more sense in America. We write laws in a litter way. We should throw our laws in the bin every now and then and maybe rewrite them. But that license plate point actually isn't the reason that you won't get in trouble on a bike. It's probably one of the reasons why an automated camera will never detect you. You won't get a letter in the post telling you sped 30 days ago. But, cyclists break all sorts of other laws, and, the truth is, like running through red lights or stop signs or doing all sorts of traffic maneuvers that are definitely very illegal, U-turns and the like. And the real reason that they're considered okay is because you are the squishy road user. We have this mental framework. Indeed, it's not even mental framework. I've read the highway code because I'm learning to drive, and in there are very express rules about avoiding cyclists and giving them space. And as a result of this, it is actually just a functional rule that cyclists have been there since before cars. They have the seniority of, even though it's dangerous and we could have more cars go on the road faster, we let people ride their bikes around. And so this is where the e-bike phenomenon comes in, because as we realized that you can maybe help a bike out by powering it a little bit, all sorts of weird contraptions of petrol bikes have existed, but then e-bikes became legalized as a way to, yeah, I mean, why, if you put in some pedal and then the bike puts in some pedal, that's basically the same as a bike, and then it slowly morphs into, yeah, if you put in some pedal, the bike can put in all of the pedal, and depending on where you live, if it's in the EU, you can go up to 15.5 miles per hour. In North America, it's up to about 20 miles per hour. Depends on your jurisdiction beyond that. But like, you can go to these speeds and the motor's allowed to help you. It has to cut off at these speeds as being the legal limit. And so I've always had the opinion of, shouldn't e-scooters just be considered e-bikes where you give them one push and go? And in actuality, the answer is no. E-scooters are considered to be these brutal machines that are used to run down your grandmother. Is what I'm doing right now illegal? The bikes are not meant to go on benches, but do you see any enforcement around? Is that going to work? And I generally don't like people who follow laws on this basis. I think you do need to have some internal code. However, when you disagree with something, should you then be very clear about it and be like, yeah, I'm gonna continuously put myself in some trouble? Or are you gonna be like, actually, I am gonna... Or should you work around it and go with the legal loophole? This is the option that people use for all sorts of different things, and we can have a very big debate about legality in society. But I wanted to make this video as my simple explanation. Why did I buy an electric bike? Because it's exactly the same as an e-scooter, but it doesn't get me stopped and spoken to and fined for a very long time. I resisted making this point so far in the video, but I do want to at least mention it as a maybe corollary factor. You know, the legalization of dogs is a big topic in my opinion that we need to all discuss. But this is obviously just a side note, but dogs are cute. But this is an important side note here, but if you look at the rate to which you get stopped by the police for riding an e-scooter, because effectively, even though laws can say one thing, the police can say something else. An example would be, I don't know, marijuana, cannabis is effectively decriminalized in the Greater London area below a certain amount. Same as in most cities. Jaywalking is illegal in the United States, still in a lot of jurisdictions, but can you cross the road? You can. And so, given that there is this gray area in the law, should you try your, and you know, this gray area is exploited in areas that seem to have people from poorer socioeconomic backgrounds largely using them. Well, it's probably a coincidence that cities like London and Nottingham, that are very diverse, have a lot of police stops on scooters, and that cities that aren't so like that seem to not have them. I bet that's a coincidence though. I bet that's totally not like another veiled way to use the law to maybe meet some ends that we already have, in the same way that hoodies aren't inherently wrong, but it's a demonization factor. And so to finish my point here, why did I buy an electric bike? It's because I love e-scooters. I think it is the future of micromobility transport. For the value to the the price to the value you get out of it, it's one of the best tools you can have for the last mile journeys. And if you get a good enough scooter, you can use it for the every mile journey too. I had so much fun riding mine around. I think it's the future. But I also have to contend with the fact that we live in a society, and that society has some issues with people who ride scooters. And so here is my electric scooter that does not look at all like an electric scooter. Are you gonna pan to the dogs again? As you can see, my electric scooter actually has 4 legs and is very furry. It's a very cute electric scooter. I recommend it to everyone. And this video was entirely just for people who had the question of, so why'd you buy an e-bike? Aren't you the e-scooter guy? I love e-scooters. I think there's a very interesting fact that we demonized e-scooters, while also every city is trying everything they can to get people biking, to make the air cleaner and to have fewer, vehicles. And also, in the last year, we had this whole thing about trying to get people off public spaces, and we have this mode of transportation that could be electric from start to finish, by the way, and also involve no contact. And somehow we went, yeah, actually, that's the bad one. Yeah, we love bikes still. Bikes are great because you ride them. Look, you ride it with your feet, but it's not great when you ride it with just the power. This is terrible. So just to clarify here, this is illegal. But this is entirely okay. My legs are technically doing work right now. So yeah, there's a billion things I want to actually show you about this bike, but this is my preamble. Thank you for watching it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in a reel. I'm going to have a few videos for anyone who is potentially considering this one. We'll talk about the price in the next video because that's the best bit. That's the bit that makes everyone go, ooh yeah, maybe you should have just you know, stuck with those £50 fines whenever you got caught by the police. And you know, that's maybe the more interesting point here. Okay. Thank you for watching. Hope you'll enjoy this third channel video, and I'll see you in the rest of the series. I'm trying to get close to the camera here. I'm gonna catch you. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.